dialogue with someone, and the person said, I just wanted to say this. I said, dialogue, where'd that come from? And I said, well, instead of saying dialogue, I was looking at some linguistics. I am not perfect. Matter of fact, when we were studying medical terminology, I had a girlfriend. She was just really very, very good with the terminologies. And I would be like, how you say this? How you say that? And it's just that when I started looking at characters and looking at different languages and stuff like that, um, I was like, okay, well, dia is day, and I was like, okay, well then instead of me saying dialogue, I would say dialogue, and then it would be like dialogue, 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 really, and it just sounds more attractive, to say dialogue. So these are like daily logs, okay? Um, Daily logs, dialogue, dialogue, a dialogue. Um, I just say dialogue, right? Okay. So anyway, the conversation of pretentiousness. And now when we begin to look at pretentiousness, this is somebody who knows something, but then they want to pretend that they don't know, or that they want to be like, okay, they're learning. And then that means that we're spending a lot of time being pretentious and not actually doing the work. So let me give you an example. I had posted something or did a video on um, labor. Okay. So you have somebody who may know how to do something, but then they want to be like they don't know because they want you to show them. Then at that point, that means there's a lot of time consumed into just somebody who's saying that they want to learn, or that they want you to give them every direction at every step. At that point, it poses a concern to us elevating and getting where we need to go. It's just so true. Okay. And then it's just like now you're pouring into a lot of different stuff. So I have given an idea of that to say, let's look at a masseuse. A masseuse put a lot of energy to make your body feel good. They're massaging your body and all the other kind of stuff, your body parts. Some masseuses are focused, whether they're talking about your feet or they're talking about your head, your hands, or whatever. So now if you're saying, hey, I want you to focus on that, the energy that's put into those kind of things, and then readily you're not addressing, let's say, the issues because you're at a training or learning phase or position. So if you already know how to do something, then it would be reciprocating to our knowledge so that we can build on it. You wouldn't want to be at a place where we're just kind of going over the same things. And unfortunately, that's what it seems like. You know what I mean? Like I already went to one class that tells you how to write a business plan, but the thing is that I'm going to another class that's telling me of how to write a business plan because I've decided to do that. Is young, and I just want to make sure I'm going in the right direction with whom I want to do it with. Do I know all the components? Well, I'm learning along the way what it meant when I was going to BP plans, right? At the identity of why it would have its own character. So if we were looking at, let's say, somebody who wanted to open up a business, um, let's say a cupcake business, right? So you can get a generic business plan and just talk about cupcakes, but you already know that there may be other ingredients that you want to add into it or do a business someplace else. So the cupcake business or the generic business plan, it is not the same kind of business plan that you would actually draw up. And then it is also clearly understood that that over a period of time, some people say, well, I don't have a business plan, but things change and you want to improve it and things of that nature. Yes, you know what I mean? So over a period of time, you begin to realize that you want to do business someplace else, or the reason why you're doing certain things is because it's there. Now, I'm not pretending with you. I'm saying to you, these are the things that I want to work on. I'm giving you my capability statement. I'm explaining to you those things that will be relevant to us doing business. But if I'm saying, and I had said that earlier, let's look at Excel. Excel for a lot of people is a it has a in-depth understanding of how to use Excel. I don't know. I just know the basics. But there are people who have an advanced learn knowing of Excel. They are able to make things calculate. They're able to draw out the maps. Fortunately, because they knew this, they were able not only to give you templates, but to also help you guide how you do different things. Yes, I know how to do the mergers. Yes, I know how to do this and do that. But there's a lot of other stuff that is advanced in Excel that I don't know. So when the employer or somebody asks you these kind of things about the different software, are you able to do it? The answer will be they give you three categories. They said there's basic, intermediate, and advanced. Okay, so that means that readily people will know exactly where you're at. No different than driving. I said that also. Hey, you know how to drive? You know how to ride a bike? You know how to fly a plane? And maybe two out of three. You know what I mean? Um, no, I don't know how to drive some equipment. I don't. Do I want to learn? Is it necessary for me to learn them? Yay and nay. Some things are very basic. Even looking at a stick shift, do I push the clutch here or do this? So, me being a driver of many equipments, the answer to that, or even a vehicle, will be no. you know I was driving a car and there was a push button and it was like I mean, I ain't gonna fib to you, honey. I was ready to ride in that ride. Okay, I was just like, woo. But when it stopped, it wasn't about me freaking out or just trying to understand the vehicle. I just said, give me a car with a key. I don't want the push button car. Matter of fact, I probably would not even purchase it because I don't want to be like, oh, okay, well, this is and I have to wait. And negative. Give me a car that has you have to put a key in it, you gotta turn it like that. Not push it and then okay, if it goes idle, this is what this means. You be in the thing, you get this no, that's just too much like it's in neutral. I don't want to do that. I'm not driving a stick. You see what I'm saying? So, whenever you're meeting people and you know that they have knowledge, but then they want to be like it's at a learning place or that they want to give a little bit at a time. Now, there's one thing when you talk about organizing. Um, so, let me give you an example. There's like six things, and actually, on the new cards, let me show you the new cards. I have on there on the cards where you have my telephone number and everything. And on the card, it has like four different, six maybe, six different little whatchamajiggas. I don't know if you can see it from here. So it has Street Meat Company on there. Let me put it a little closer. It has Street Meat Company. And then it says art and economic. I guess I could have said arts and economics. I didn't do that. I just said art and economic. Okay. And on here, it has the email address, and then it has Chick, Say, BB&D, Kite, Naguzo Saba, or Naguzo, and it has FAACC, right? Now, in regards to the organization, there's a questionnaire that's on the website, www.streetmeatcompany.org. Now, the reason why I put that there like that is to let you know that these are some things that I'm speaking about, okay? And there's work in each one of these. The questionnaire is on the website. Now, it's not as thorough. Matter of fact, there's other questions that I would like to ask because BB&D consists of housing, community, and economic development. When you go on the website, you'll see housing, community, and economic development. Right now, readily, I'm contacting a few people who has an interest in housing or have their subject line is housing in such a way, right? Now, on the back of the card, I have my name, and then there's the spider monkey. The reason why I have the spider monkey because of various reasons. But that is the point. I'm not concealing anything from you. However, when we start going into each one of those subjects, the questionnaire will help me, and it will help our dialogue and our conversation on what is your interest. And because the organization itself have a lot of things that we could do, not only supporting, here it is, my entity, but then also the support of other entities. So we are working. When I first got started, I was like, okay, wanted to inquire. Luckily, there was a lot of people who was wanting to gather information from different businesses. So that information is there. As a matter of fact, they've been doing that for a minute now, trying to support small businesses, small indigenous businesses, okay? People who readily are considered I'm sorry to say it, but it is a class of people because we have been at an argument about our liberation and what is sustainable, why do we need to review certain acts and bills and now looking at policing and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, all that almost sounds like it's going into chick. But let's talk. 5 minutes. Yes, they tell us about the elevator pitch. Well, what is it? Street Me Company. We are A99 organization that focus on art and economics. Well, what is it that you're doing? That's the second question. That would be a grand thing for somebody to ask you. Well, what kind of art are you focused on? Well, I'm focused on my work right now is building up community community program in the local neighborhood, as well as the language and also the communication that's to imply for Kwanzaa. Okay. And oh, okay, that's wonderful. Well, what is some of the other work? We'll get it in a place where it's not readily, we readily do not see Black and African art. It's not uncommon. You see it all over the place, but I'm talking about the venue or the place that I'm speaking of. And there's 7 days to do 7 days of building the celebration around the Naguzo Saba. What is the chick? Oh, well, we actually have an activity where we want to engage active military, the government, and different things like that. How are we going to get there? Now, that would be the other thing. Because when you're getting so consumed in one thing or the other, how are we going to get there? Well, I mean, and now I'm talking about people that we know is just active in the community. That would be including organizations. And I wanted them to march in the parade. You understand? Because why? I am against police brutality. And so cultivating, or maybe they don't have an organization of people who where they can have that kind of that middle understanding. I don't know. I have participated in different groups and where the argument was there were people who did not want to participate with the police, but then I'm suggesting that they should. You understand where I'm coming from? And I know that the police, some of the police precincts have youth programs. You understand where I'm coming from? But to go, then that means that you're part of the organization. Or if you want to become a member, I say, hey, donate. And then you donating, you already know that those things that I'm saying to you, we're implementing that. And so you know that your money's going in the right place. You become a participant. You understand where I'm coming from? You become a participant with that because now you want me to provide a service and I'm doing the service. I'm actively engaged with the community, and it's just so true. Well, how are you gonna get to one place or the other? Well, then that's where all that stuff come in at. Is it needed? I was looking at is it needed to provide that information when I'm contacting you and you could contact me? But anyway, there was a group that was going on regularly, and apparently they had not done it for a little bit, but the people were asking, hey, that was somewhere else, was asking, hey, when we're going to have another meeting? And they said, well, by popular demand or request, and we're not on on Article 29. That's concerning. The reason it's concerning because I'm in this light right now. Not here it is, this light. Another light where I'm not gonna go there in a minute. But yeah, they want to go ahead and do the meetings. You know what I'm saying? So they rekindle the meetings. And so that's a good thing. When you have people who want to have dialogue with you, they're going to make an effort with that. It's just so true. Oh boy, that I went into another light where just knowing that human rights is being violated is sad. Oh gosh, I just kind of like, yeah, yeah. Oh boy, it's sad. Some of this stuff is just you'd be like, well, who you gonna tell? So I'm like, okay. Um, it went into an area where I was already recording. I had started off some of our recordings the way that I'm doing it now, and I was doing another engine that was on the web, and then I tried to download a lot of that stuff and put it on YouTube, and I had agreed to put a lot of stuff on YouTube, but then it's just me talking, it's not really going into a lot of this stuff. A lot of this stuff is actually applications and sending it and submitting it to the right people so that we can be more effective. No different than I didn't even put say on here. Say is not on here. I put kite. No, say is on there. Oh, okay, good. Now, this other like I had invited, I wanted to talk about housing, I wanted to talk about mental health. Because the thing is that we have a lot of people who are homeless, and not just addressing homelessness, but mental health is associated with homelessness. Why is that? Well, you're inside your home. You're with your significant other or another person in your home, and they do something to you. It goes into a human rights thing. Somebody do domestic violence on you, and then where you gonna go? Now you have to look at your safety. You know what I mean? You at home and you're not working. Somebody try to exclude you from having financial resources. They don't want you to eat. They don't want you to drink. It becomes a violation. It becomes a human rights issue, a constitution issue. Somebody lock you outside your home, and then what? When you get the law, there's laws against that. Okay, somebody who want to draw up a case on you and talk about libel and all that kind of thing. So that goes into a mental situation, and it's not. When we start looking at mental, we're looking at mental, and so we're looking at the government. Okay, so now we're looking at the reason why we're looking at the government is because now the government is supposed to protect you. Okay, I had to switch it over. The government is there to protect you, right? That's your thought. Boy, I told you I had went into this little light. Had to come up out of there. It was like a little beam of light. You'd be like, okay. We become somewhat concerned about a few things. Not only what you think the government is doing, but then you're talking about your own personal surroundings and your personal safety. These things become a very king, and it's not king, KIN, interest for your own well being. You understand? So those things, oh, well, my girlfriend said, oh, well, Irene, I want to help you out with these sessions. I'm like, oh, yeah. Well, now we got to get the people. It's $100. No, but for real, though. So some things are just easier said than done. Really, it is. Well, where's your focus? I think that when I'm submitting these different things, I'm applying those things. There's a couple of things I need to do, like work on. Here it is, the stacks of papers I got there. Oh, well, here it is. Readily, you're not doing this because I'm waiting. It didn't mean that I didn't have all the stuff together, but when I'm submitting it, what does it mean? Right? Anyway, we're going to get there, right? Yes, 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 yes. Applying ourselves, and here it is, those areas that's going to help us to be more effective and efficient. Like I said, oh, well, yes, well, here it is, this business. Man, that's the thing. When you meet people and they have a fun, oh, well, let me come and visit your business. Or, let me, Oh, help you out with this different things. Oh, I know. Oh, wow, that was phenomenal. Sweet potato. I love the way you have done that. Well, how can this, and this is how things work. There's this business, and this man, he was just loving it. He got involved in the real estate business, and what he wanted to do was economic development, business, community, and economic development. That was his focus. Now, to tell you the truth, I don't know what his name was, but I haven't seen a lot of his work like I was seeing it being like he was like really driving it, and he was putting all these different businesses in these different places and stuff like that. And I mean, he was doing really good. He was able to get the business there and do like the little brownstone, the business on the bottom, houses or businesses on the top, service business and stuff like that. But I haven't seen his work lately. Well, of course, I'm someplace else, but when I was in the place where he was doing all that, I didn't see where he was in other places. Did it run out for him? No, not necessarily. Maybe he had another business idea to work on. You know what I mean? Some people may have done something so for a period of time. I was looking at this one story, and this guy, he was just a serial entrepreneur, and he was making his little money. He invested in that. He spent some time. Then he was learning from those things. He moved from that project, went to another project. Some was viable, some of them viable after his run. He was like, hey, I was doing this, that, and the other. And then we ended up getting YouTube. They became very successful. So when somebody is saying something about here it is being pretentious and getting there and starting, oh well, yes, I know it is, but no, I don't know it is, and this, hey, we have some smart people who do not have a college degree. Now you're talking about people with kite. They know how to get us there. You understand? So I'm not looking at education, but if you're like being pretentious and you knowing, and then we're not getting where we need to go because we want to be like we just trying to test each other out. You know. That's just it. Now, from us knowing from one thing to get to the other thing, now we're being advantageous and actually winning at whatever it is that we're trying to be successful with our projects. Okay? Hugs and keep kisses, people. Mwah, and mwah, like that. I don't know. We could go on the 46664 and talk about it, and I'm not talking about being behind those bars, right? Okay, let's see. We have Chick, Fact, BB&D, Say, Kite, the Guzo Saba, people. Hugs and kisses.